Miss Nikki. Miss Nikki. Wake up, you there? Honey, the way Nikki was looking. Child.
Another week, another show. Got that hot tea, you know. Ooh. Get ready for the unfiltered truth. What she thinks too. On reality, on everyone. Oh, yeah. The real talk has just begun. What she thinks too. Real commentary, real opinions. What she thinks too. What she thinks, what she thinks.
Hey, y'all. It is your girl, Marquetta Shanae, and we are back for another episode of Married at First Sight, episode 3. Welcome back to What She Thinks Too, and we're going to jump right in. So listen, episode 3, we pick right back up to where we left off in episode 2, which, Miss Nikki, baby. Miss Nikki, girl. It was extremely awkward. And her face said it all, even though she wasn't saying nothing. Girl, okay. So we start with Nikki and Sean at the altar. And you can see, y'all, I had secondhand embarrassment. I don't know if y'all felt that same thing too. I had secondhand embarrassment. And then it was also like the look on his mom's face. Did y'all see how his mom was looking? Like, oh, Lord, she don't like my baby. Like, it was very, very awkward and telling. And I like to think that, Nikki, you're a lot more intelligent than that. To not show your disappointment in such a, drastic. I won't say drastic because it ain't like she was like, ugh, you know. So I won't say drastic. I won't say dramatic, but it was very, very cringe. It was very, very cringe. But one of the things she did say at the altar, once they kind of, spoke to each other, hey, she said, I will always show up and try. Right. And that gave me a little bit of hope. And once I saw, the ice kind of break in that moment, things began to kind of shift, and I could see the nervousness and the lack of attraction shift, at least for the moment, right? At least for the moment. Now, Sean gave a beautiful speech as he talked about how he had prepared for this moment. And he said the past year he had purchased 2 of everything. Listen, Sean said he was getting ready, honey. He didn't know who it was going to be, when it was going to be, but he wanted to be prepared. And he said he got 2 of everything. I wonder what he mean by that. 2 of what? What all you got, Sean? Nosy people like me want to know 2 of everything meaning what? Because if you're talking about toothbrushes and stuff like that, I come with my own toothbrush. But no, I really wonder what he meant by that. And then he said, I have space for you. And everybody was like, oh, how sweet, how romantic. But I love how the conversation kind of seemed to flow. And I think they might do okay. Once they start to open up a little bit more and have more dialogue and conversations. She said she's a pseudo sapien, which means she's attracted to the mind. So let's see if that presents itself more often than not. Hopefully so. Now we see our last couple in their matchmaking session, which is Caitlin and Devin. Now, he says that people assume that he's a douchebag because he is in sports, professional rugby player, but he says he is far from that, right? I didn't get douche, but that's just me. I didn't get douchebag from him. Like I said, he gave me a little laid back frat boy kind of vibe or whatever, but he didn't give me like, oh, you're a douche. I didn't get that from him. I don't know if y'all did. If you did, hey, drop that in the comments and let me know. Now, he said his ideal girl will look like Sydney Sweeney. And what was funny, y'all, I said, oh my gosh. Caitlin kind of got a little, Sydney Sweeney vibe to her. So this is going to be good. He's definitely going to be attracted to her. Now, Caitlin described the man that she liked, and then when they showed him, I'm like, dang, Devin kind of looked like him. So it's funny that who they're attracted to, they got that right in each other. So automatically we know the attraction is going to be there. He says that he wants the total package family, and so does she. So that's perfect. She's used to being in toxic relationship and now wants to be in her soft girl era. Now she didn't say soft girl era. I'm saying soft girl era because we know that's what she meant. In reference to how she said she just wants to be able to let her guard down. And I get it. You know what I'm saying? We, as women, we can sometimes get tired of having to be strong and present ourselves in such a way. We want to be able to just be soft, honey, and just melt with our man. And just, you know what I'm saying, have that understanding and that realization that I don't have to show up as strong all the time, right? So I'm really excited to see how they begin to progress. Now, this was the thing. Like, I love their package, right? I love how their ceremony, everything, the conversations and the dialogue and everything that was going on in between that. She mentioned that her dad was going to be there, but he was not going to walk her down the aisle. She said that she's a dad's girl, right? But he is a traditional person. And he was going to be there to support her, but he was not going to walk her down the aisle. Now, y'all. The comments that her daddy was making were very off-putting initially. I was like, oh, Lord have mercy. Calm down, sir. Calm down. The people can hear you over there. Like, chill out. Like, he was being, like, really, really rude. He was being really, really rude. What y'all think? I didn't like it. I did not like it. I didn't like it. He was saying, oh, the people probably drunk over there, and I don't care. The mom was like, oh, it's so nice and so pretty. I don't care if it's gold chairs. It's stupid. I mean, like, it was just giving this type of energy that I didn't really vibe with, right? But what I noticed between Caitlyn and Devin is that they seem to have great chemistry. When she walks down that aisle and they see each other, you can already see chemistry there. You can already see it. And I love that. So we then go to commercial break, right? Before it goes to commercial, let me say, before it goes into commercial, her daddy stood up and said, this is crazy to me. I was nervous. I don't know about y'all, but I was so nervous. I'm like, oh my gosh, this man already been talking junk under his breath. What is he about to say? Like, oh God, please don't get up here and embarrass your daughter. Please just, But when we come back from commercial, he has a transparent moment. And he said that overall, he trusts his daughter, even though he's traditional and he does think this is crazy. He said, I trust my daughter. And I hope this will turn into something amazing. And they exchanged their vows. And I was just in awe. Like, off of this, what I've seen so far, they're my favorite couple. They are my favorite couple. So next we go to the reception of Cameron and Michelle. And it's funny because they're getting ready to do their first dance and you see the immediate height difference. And so Cameron is trying to figure out like how I'm supposed to dance with Michelle because she down here and I'm way up here. And it's just a little awkward, funny moment that they have in reference to that with their first dance. Then we go back to Nikki and Sean. And we're at that reception and her homegirls are over there like, girl, so what you feel about everything? Like, how you like it? Okay, how you... Miss Nikki. Y'all, Nikki said the wine good. Girl, Nikki, girl. That's it. Y'all, Nikki said the wine good. Her homegirls is like, he's cute. He has a nice smile and all the things. And she was like, yeah, whatever. Okay. Nikki ain't feeling it from an attraction standpoint, right? She says the attraction is not there. And hopefully, you know what I'm saying, it can grow into that. But it's not there off rip. Now, she mentioned wanting to take things slow when her and him began to have conversation and dialogue. And he he agrees. And I don't know, y'all. I don't know Nikki and Sean. On paper, yes. Together, I don't know. And then we go into the reception of Caitlyn and Devin, my faves for right now. And Devin talks to her dad. I loved this. He was not standoffish. He wasn't in the corner like, oh, well, her daddy ain't really. No, Devin has a conversation with her father, right? And he is reassuring him that I'm here for the right reason. Like, the way he had the conversation with her dad, I absolutely love and respect Devin wholeheartedly for that. And you could see that the reservations that her dad had in reference to it, and even the reservations that he has, he was letting his guard down. I don't know if y'all noticed the same thing, but I saw his guard begin to come down. Now, the wall is still there, right? Rightfully so, because I don't know this man. But the fact that Devin respected him enough to have a conversation to reassure her dad, like, I'm here for the right reasons, I saw that wall come down. And I actually believe Devin. I actually believe him. Then we go over to Belle Jolie and Mecca. Listen, and they having a good time, honey, at their wedding reception. They having a ball, everything, dancing, vibing. Her homegirl is over there a little tipsy. They having a sidebar conversation, and the homegirl is giving her advice. And girl, if he mess with you, you know what I'm saying, I'll beat him up and all this. Can't nobody play with Belle Jolie. Girl, calm down. Calm down, Tipsy Tuesday. Calm down, homegirl. Y'all, we can ride for our girls and our sisters and our mothers and, what I'm saying, all the things or whatever, but calm down. But she said, I'm just joking, which I don't believe that she was. I don't believe that she was, but she was being there for her friend. And then we flash to Belle holding this cute little girl. And then Mecca's dad like, oh, she over there, she holding the baby, she got baby fever. Baby Mecca say, I am not ready for that. I am not ready for that. And I kind of chuckled because I'm like, well, I don't remember the conversation in reference to Belle with the matchmaker. She talked about kids and being ready to have kids now. I can't remember if she had that conversation, but that's something that they definitely need to talk about in reference to a timetable-ish. You know what I'm saying? Because Mecca basically said, baby, he told his dad, I'm not ready for that just yet. But his dad really likes her and his family and her family, and he expressed that. Now, we know the daddy by now. We know he a little unhinged. And he was like, oh, Mecca, I saw you up there. You know what I'm saying? What y'all think? What you think the night gonna be with the honeymoon and all this other stuff? You think he like, oh, I saw you up there and you had an erection at the altar. Bruh. Daddy, I need you to stop it. I need you to stop. And even Mecca like, nah, like you telling lies, dog. Like I was not up there like that. He was like, yes, you was. I saw you. I saw Tipsy. TD, I'm gonna call him TD. Tipsy Daddy. Tipsy Daddy. You gotta calm down with it. Chill out. Chill out. But they're having a good time, and that's what matters. Then we go to Courtney and Nick. Now, baby, Courtney trying to get the tea. And I understand because I've been trying to get it too. So she asked his friends, like, what's really good about him going on these reality shows? Now, his friends back him up and was like, oh, no, don't think of it like that. It's all about you. You don't have anything to worry about. He's been going on reality shows to find you. Okay. Okay. Well, I went on them other reality shows. You know what I'm saying? Whatever y'all say, cool. I keep it in my memory bank for the future. Then we have Tori and Felipe, and they're cutting their cake and continuing to celebrate. They just flashed kind of quickly there. We see Felipe cutting the cake, and he said in his family tradition, you give the first piece of cake to the person that you love. He said, I love you, Mom, and then he hands the cake to Tori. Wow. And then he was like, Mom, I promise you'll get the next slice. But Tori actually gave his mom her slice. And it was a beautiful moment. Then we're back, y'all, at Nikki and Sean. Now, they're partying at their wedding reception. The vibe seemed to kind of be, flowing a little bit. She over there with her friends. He over there with his uncle. They having more conversation and dialogue. And then it cuts to her sitting at the in the center in the chair, and they're like, "Oh, it's time to toss the garter belt." Chime. Okay, Sean. So Sean bites the garter belt off of her, and her face, Nikki is looking in her face like, and you could tell she's so uncomfortable. But he was like, "Can I have a kiss?" And she kissed him. Then we go back to Marissa and Adam. Now she's getting to know him more, talking to his friends and so on and so forth. So, you know what I'm saying? They're catching up and he's over there talking to her mom. We then flash back to Caitlin and Devin, my faves. And her dad, being a traditional person, he came around, y'all. Like, you could see him, and he got on the microphone again. Now, the first time he spoke, he wasn't on the mic. But this time, he grabbed the mic, and he said, listen, I almost didn't come. I almost didn't show up. 5 days ago, I was not coming. He was like, but being here and seeing Devin and his family, and I'm glad I came, and I would have been so upset had I missed it. And I love that. And they have an embrace. She embraces her dad, and Devin even comes up and he embraces. It was just a beautiful, genuine moment. Then we go back to Nick and Courtney, and they seem happy so far. Now, towards the end of the night, it is time to wrap up all of these shenanigans that have been going on with the weddings and the receptions. And we see the couples heading into their forever-ish. I say ish because we don't know if it's going to be forever or not. Some of them we can already predict. Now, Mecca and Belle Jolie are having a bonding moment about growing up in a broken home. And I love to see Mecca's serious side. Because y'all know I'm saying, like, okay, you're doing all this playing and kiki. Let me see if you can have serious conversations. And I love the fact that he was able to have serious conversations with her. And they bonded over that. Cameron and Michelle. Now, she talks about she's been in long-term relationships. However, Cameron, he hasn't. Longest relationship he has been in is 6 months. And I wrote down in my notes, girl, pay close attention to this and see. Let's see if this meshes well. Because she was like, oh, well, you might be picky, you know what I'm saying, in reference to me and things I do. And he kept stressing like, oh, it's going to be difficult for me. It's going to be difficult. I don't like when people are pessimists, right? I want you to be more optimistic and say, it's going to be a change, right? There's going to be changes that have to take place, but I'm willing, I'm open. You're like, it's going to be difficult. Man, okay. Okay. That would have threw me off. And you could tell it kind of threw her off too. But she kind of just smiled and giggled through it. But I don't know if y'all felt that same little like tension there when they were in the car. But I did. I did. Then we go back over to Mecca and Belle Jolie. They got their bonnets on, honey, and they ready for bed. Now, Belle says she not doing nothing. She was like, but this romantic atmosphere, y'all, it got me, you know what I'm saying? Want to do a little, but I'm not going to do it. It's the first night. I don't know this man, so on and so forth. So they say they're not going to do the do. Now, we flash over to Marissa and Adam again. And she talks about, I'm going to sleep on the couch. But y'all drop that in the comments and y'all tell me if she slept on that couch. Because when they closed the curtain, I heard a little kissy face. Did y'all hear the kissy face? I heard the kissy faces. And I feel like they did not sleep on the couch. She didn't sleep on the couch. We'll see. And then there's Nikki and Sean again. Now, he was like, are you okay with me sleeping in the bed? Or you want me to sleep somewhere else? So she said, I feel like the bed is big enough for us to be able to sleep in it. I was shocked Because I just knew she was gonna be like, yeah, I'm gonna need you to sleep on the floor, sleep on the couch, somewhere else. But she's okay with him sleeping in the bed. Now, she admits to us that she is not attracted to him. We already knew this girl. But clearly the producers are asking her at that moment, and she's admitting out loud, no, I'm not attracted to him. Maybe that'll change, so on and so forth. We see in the preview for next episodes, she said some things in reference to him, so on and so forth. Yeah. But she talks about setting boundaries. The temperature in the room was 69. He was like, oh, my favorite position. And he made a little joke, which I knew he was joking, in reference to like, do you want to do that position? And she was like, no. He was like, it's a joke. She was like, was it? I feel like because she's not attracted to him, right? She was like, maybe you can, she didn't say it to him, but she was talking to in her confessional, maybe we can joke like that later once the attraction is there. But for right now, and I get it, because look, if you're not attracted to someone and they making sexual type of, you know what I'm saying, innuendos and jokes like that, it just come off, it's an ick. Like, I'm gagging, I'm throwing up in my mouth, please stop. And that's the vibe that she was getting. That's definitely the vibe she was getting. And like I said, y'all, Caitlyn and Devin, yeah, for right now, because I see some things coming up, I'm like, what's going on? But for right now, those two are my faves. And the show ends with Tori and Felipe, and she says she really likes him. And she thinks that he is so attractive and all the things. And I want her to like, and I'm sure she will at some point, I want her to tell him that again. Because he's like, oh my gosh, I really hope she likes me and I want to make her fall in love with me and all these things. And I'm like, Felipe, the girl over here head over heels. You know what I'm saying? She kind of head over heels for you. You don't see it like that just yet. Or maybe he doesn't believe it. Right? Because this is another thing too. When it comes to us making a lot of changes to ourselves, right? If you haven't done the internal work, everything that you've done externally, that internal person still sees themselves as they were. And I think that's kind of where he is. Like, yeah, I know, I made these changes. I got my teeth done. I done lost weight. I done, you know what I'm saying? I own a business and all these other things. Those are outward things, right? But internally, how are you internally? Are you still that same person? Almost to the point where he's like, I don't believe I got her. Like, I don't believe that she likes me like that. I remember when she was like, oh, you're hot. And he was like, really? No, you are. You know what I'm saying? It was just, it's that internal work. So, yeah, that's it. But you know what? Y'all make sure y'all drop that in the comments. Let me know what you thought about this episode. Make sure if you have not already that you like the video and you subscribe. And we'll see y'all in the next video. And until next time, bye.